Let's use the bubble chart function combined with xlookups to create this dashboard in just a few minutes. I have a list of sales by state, but this could be a list of sales for anything, region, rep, anything. Go up to insert and pick the bubble chart and then switch the row and column, and now it's looking good. I'm changing the design so that it's a darker background, and I'm going to hit Control X and then Control V, and it's pasted here onto our actual dashboard. Move it, resize it, and all set. Now click on the bubbles, right click, and then we're going to format this, and we want to reduce the size of that to something like 25 or 30 so that the bubbles are visible. Before they were kind of jammed up. Click on the axis and let's change the minimum to 0. We don't have negative sales, so we don't need that, but you might. And then I'm resizing just so you can see when I click on the plus and data labels, but we want to change that from Y to X. Now what you're seeing are the abbreviations of the states, and let's change that font to white and close out, and then we'll put it back to how it was. I just did that so you could see. Next, let's click on the bottom title there and press delete. And then we're also going to change this axis to 0. And again, now we don't have any negatives, and it makes the graph image much bigger and easier to see. Now, if I go up to insert shape, I want to put in min, average, and max. So I'm drawing in the rounded edge rectangle. And if you go up to the top there under align, you can't see it too well, but there is a snap to option so that it makes it easier to align these things. So you can have that on or off. And then let's change the shape on this to a bevel. Now the bevel makes it a little bit difficult with the shading to exact match any text boxes you put on here. So if you like that look, you can do that. But if you don't, and you want to make that text matching easier, maybe just use a regular shape. Now I'm having trouble with the snap to, so I'm going to go up to align and turn that off so I can move these into place. That looks a little bit better. And now I'm going to add a title. These are just going to be state stats, so I'm just going to call it something basic like that. And I'm going to do some centering and changing of the font, the background, just so it kind of matches the above title. So next, we're going to go back to our data tab because we need to actually find the min, average, and max. So I'm just going to put those in across the top here so it's really clear. So we've got min, max, and average. And then we're going to use xlookup. So it's xlookup and then min. And then you want to select the column where the value is at. And then we're going to select it again. And then we're going to look at the value to return in column B. So column B is at the end. And then same exact thing for max, except you use xlookup and max. So select that sales column twice. And then the last column is the value to return because we want to see the state name returned. So now we've got Florida and New Mexico looking good. And then for average, we're just going to type in equals average, select the column, and that's it. I didn't lock any of the cells because I'm not using this anywhere other than in this single cell. So now if I go up to the insert icons, we can choose some icons that make sense. So let's do something like a low, a high, and then something for average. We could type in middle, and we've got our little middle icon. So we're going to insert all three of those. Careful when you move these. They all kind of clump together. So this will be the low, and then we could put the high on the far right, and then we could just do average in the middle. And then we need to resize these. So if you press Control and click on each one, and then resize down with the little circles, that's a little bit better now to be able to see text. So now we're going up to insert, and we're going to do a text box. So draw that in and go up to the formula bar, type equals, and then go back to your data sheet and click on the minimal function. And there's Florida, looks good. And then we're going to do this again, a text box for average and a text box for high. And you need to click in the formula bar of each one, go back to the data tab and make sure you click the appropriate cell. So New Mexico is our highest value. That was somewhere around 201,000. So that makes sense. Always good to do a quick spot check on these things. And then we're going to draw this box in for average and then do the exact same thing where we click on equal and then go to the other tab and select the appropriate cell. Now I can press Control and click on each one of these to change the formatting all at the same time. So we want a bigger font, probably bold. We probably want to align that or center it. And then if you go up to the shape design, we can choose a fill color. Now this is where I was saying it's going to be hard to get an exact match. I find when you do these buttons, if anyone has a tip for that, please let me know. But that gray is looking pretty good. Let's do no outline. We don't want a border on those. And then you can click on these again because it actually would look better if we centered vertically as well. And then we do need to make an adjustment here because our number is a little bit longer. So that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to make a couple more adjustments here and trying to change that color again to maybe fit a little bit better, or maybe we could do a little bit lighter gray, test that out. But either way, now the cool thing with this, the reason we did xlookup is so that you can make this dynamic. So when you go back to your other data tab and you make a change to the data, your min, max, average is all going to update. So let's change our minimum value to just show an example. Pop over here and it updates.